Hi there, I'm Darkfry, and you know what I just can't get enough of? Games whose story themes are perfectly reflected in their gameplay, which is why I love Bioshock, the Stanley Parable. This walking simulator with branching paths has a very compelling message, and is a great subversion of its genre, just like Bioshock. Carry on. Reverse horror game where you rampage as a grotesque monster? Hell yeah! I love fun little murderous romps like Carry On and Bioshock! Okay, so I ain't fooling anyone. You read the title, you know this video is about Bioshock. I love this game. Easily my favorite first-person shooter, and it's not even a close competition. Bioshock seems like your run-of-the-mill shooter, go through all the areas killing everything that moves. But it's much more thought-provoking than your typical shooty bang bang game. And it's not because of the occasional puzzle. This game is seriously dense. It has a lot to say through its story, setting, and characters, despite how short it is. You can finish the entire thing in a single sitting if you're an epic enough gamer, but it will leave you with an experience you'll likely remember for a long while. There's a good reason this game is considered a classic. It has so much going for it. To start, it knows how to make a good first impression. The initial descent to the underwater city of Rapture is one of the game's highlights, and one of the best opening sequences I've ever seen in general. Not to mention the first time you see a Big Daddy. Well, that was fucking terrifying. Bioshock really knows how to make things hit you really hard, and that's especially true for what most people remember this game for. Its plot twist. Everyone loves a good plot twist. There's not much that can beat the feeling of shock and awe after an amazing reveal, or the fluctuating emotions you feel as the story goes through hoops and bounds like a wild roller coaster ride. If it doesn't crash horribly, at least. Plot twists are a double-edged sword. They can really make or break a story. For this exact reason, as a writer, I am very interested in how to do plot twists that are super impactful to the player's experience in a positive way. So naturally, I started by taking a deeper look at one of the most iconic plot twists in gaming history. Bioshock's Would You Kindly? So, what's the deal with Would You Kindly, and why does everyone hold it in such high regard? Well, let's start off by explaining the twist itself so we're all on the same page. If you didn't already figure it out by now, I'm about to spoil the everlasting shit out of Bioshock, so if you don't want that, would you kindly go play the game and return to this video? Cheers. In the beginning of the game, you enter the underwater city of Rapture in a bathysphere, whereupon you receive your first objective.
Would you kindly pick up that shortwave radio? I don't know how you survived that plane crash, but I've never been one to question Providence. I'm Atlas, and I aim to keep you alive.
This is Atlas, and he is many things. He is your main source of information, your guide through the city of Rapture, and even a helping hand every now and then. He is also very polite.
Sounds like that should about do it. Head on back to Fontaine Fisheries when you're ready. Would you kindly? Would you kindly? Would you kindly? Would you kindly?
You continue along your merry murderous way, meeting all sorts of crazies in the meantime, until you reach the office of Rapture's founder, and the goal that Atlas gave you. Andrew Ryan. Where this happens.
Stop, would you kindly? Would you kindly? Powerful phrase. Familiar phrase.
Would you kindly? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find that home? Would you kindly find? Would you kindly get this thing? Would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a bitch?
Sit, would you kindly? Stand, would you kindly? Run! Stop! Turn. A man chooses. A slave obeys. Kill!
Story-wise, this twist is absolutely shocking. Rapture is full of freaks and psychos. You may have known since the beginning that Atlas has some sort of ulterior motive, but he was the one constant throughout the adventure. Finding out that he was just using you with the phrase "would you kindly" since the beginning in this city where you have nothing else hits really hard. Not to mention it's a death by golf club that actually matters. Heh. That's not the real strength of this twist, however. Would you kindly works so well because it also makes sense from a gameplay perspective. Bioshock is many things. Open-ended, it is not. Aside from a few choices and RPG elements, Bioshock is an incredibly linear game. It's also very good at telling you where to go next. Too good, in fact. This compass arrow is there to show you your destination, and you spend almost the entire game following it from one objective to the other. Objectives given to you by Atlas. Notice that I said almost just now. That's because there is one area that is an exception to this rule. Best part of the game, maybe even the entire series. This area is special for two reasons. Firstly, it's the one time Bioshock gets a little more open-ended. After some exploration, you have access to the entire area and are tasked by the area's boss, Sander Cohen, to find his 3 protégés and kill them. You can do so in any order you please. Exploration is encouraged, the area is very unique in its design, and most importantly, the goddamn compass arrow disappears. The second thing that sets Fort Frolic apart from the rest is that this is the only time where Atlas is not present. Sander Cohen hijacks your radio, replacing Atlas.
Atlas
is gone, and the game's linearity goes with him. Would you kindly work so well with the gameplay of Bioshock that it's almost scary. Best part is, I haven't even mentioned the craziest part of this twist yet. That's right, folks. This shit goes deeper than Rapture itself. How does it go deeper? Simple. Bioshock is a video game. Bioshock is a video game. I'm serious. That's the most important part. Let me explain. In this game, you play as Jack. Jack is a faceless, mute, bland husk of a playable character. Even in the context of the story itself, he is nothing. He is a child genetically engineered to obey any task given to him with a simple phrase, sent by Atlas to hijack a plane specifically for the purpose of killing Andrew Ryan. He is a mere pawn. As far as you're concerned, you might as well be playing as a pair of floating arms. Behind Jack, however, hides a player that controls him. And everything that applies to Jack through the game's story also applies to the player directly. That's the important part. It's not indirect. You don't experience them through Jack. You experience them directly. Did I say directly enough yet? It's pretty direct. Why? Like I said before, Bioshock is a video game. You are a player. What happens when you play a video game? The game tells you something to do, and you do it to progress in the game's story so you can reach the game's end and complete it like the epic gamer you are at heart. You do these things without a second thought. Subconsciously, you make the decision to comply to the orders given to you by Atlas to complete this game, making you and Jack one and the same. Jack is a blank vessel playable character done right, to the game's advantage. There's a reason I mentioned the Stanley Parable in the beginning of this video. It does something very similar. Both of these games take advantage of the player's inherent willingness to blindly follow the commands given to them. In this scene, Andrew Ryan is essentially talking directly to the player, asking if you are a man or a slave, if you are doing what you want, living your life, or if you're just a pawn in someone else's scheme. And if you are just a pawn, then is that all you want to be? Is Bioshock calling you a sheep just for playing it? No. It wants you to have a good old think about this.
A man chooses. A slave obeys.
What are you? It's a powerful question, one that can shape your perspective on so many facets of life. Bioshock achieves this with its carefully constructed gameplay, a touch of brilliant writing, and this seemingly simple scene. So, using Would You Kindly, what can we say are the necessary requirements for an amazing and impactful plot twist? See, a good plot twist is a carefully constructed, very fragile machine. Change any cog in this machine, and it will fall apart. Would You Kindly would not work if Bioshock was a book, a movie, or any other medium. Would You Kindly would not work if Jack had a personality and motives of his own. Would You Kindly would not work in any other game other than the one it's in. This right here is what separates a good twist from a perfect one. There are some plot twists that are pretty common in storytelling. A trusted companion betraying you, the villain being related to the hero, etc. There's good reason these appear so often. It's because they generally work. A perfect twist isn't general though. It's all about being perfectly tailored to its home game. It's about understanding the game it's in, the themes, and the story it's in, the role it plays in strengthening said story while staying consistent with its themes. There's also the gameplay to consider. For example, it'd be pretty weird if Would You Kindly was in a game where you had complete and total agency over what you did at all times. That would create what we in the business like to call ludonarrative dissonance. Those are some big words I just said, but they're pretty much only there to make us look smart. What they mean is actually quite simple. It's when there is a clear disconnect between story and gameplay, when the cutscenes follow a completely different rule set than the game's established mechanics. A good example of this would be in most shooter games where in gameplay they can unload an entire mag of bullets on you and you just walk it off, while in cutscenes a single bullet is enough to kill an important character. If the plot twist doesn't directly contradict the gameplay, that'd be nice. The final thing is the player themselves. You need to understand the player's perspective to properly get inside their heads. You must understand the experience your game is going to give the player up until the point of the twist, and how the twist will change that experience, and by extension the player's perception of your game. That way, you can change their experience into something really special. Would You Kindly is very rightfully considered one of gaming's best twists. Looking at it more analytically, there's a lot to be learned from it. So much, in fact, that I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff. Bioshock is an amazing game, one of my favorites for sure, and I highly recommend you play it. Would You Kindly is just scratching the surface of why this game is so good. There's so much stuff about this game I haven't even mentioned. I'm not even gonna say what happens after the twist, in the off chance that I actually convinced someone to play it with this video. That'd be pretty neat. If you do, then I also encourage you to have a good think about it. Anyway, I don't really know how to end this video, so... Bioshock! You know, usually at the end of videos about would you kindly, the person would do like a, would you kindly like, comment, and subscribe. It's very clever, I can't deny that, but I'm not gonna do that. It's because it implies that I brainwash you into doing it, and I don't want to brainwash you. You will like, comment, and subscribe willingly because you enjoyed the video. And you are also going to follow me on Twitter, where I post objectively funny stuff and regular updates for videos I'm working on. And as always, thanks for watching. This has been Dark. Goodbye.